There's some changes I want to introduce, and one change is to add the October 4th minutes. The second change is the ordinance establishing fixed asset capitalization policy, which is required by the State Board of Accounts. And then the third thing is a contract for services between Perry County and Perry County Community Foundation. This has to do with Perry County Community Foundation managing our application for the ARP money. Is that the best way to explain it?
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, that, and then the other change to the agenda, I would like to move the item for the, with the poll books, contract up to next on the agenda, because our clerk is called away from, to a family issue, and she'd like to get out of here. So, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
The only other thing I would like to add, if I can, is the discussion of the plan. We need to talk about the ARP plan as well.
I didn't know we were at that point yet.
Well, if we're gonna spend that money, we have to have a plan to actually spend the money.
Right.
So it might be, not in the sense of
Okay.
like making one, but just talking with Chris and making sure we go forward with making a plan for the next meeting.
Okay. Can you do that, Chris?
Sure.
Okay. All right. All right. So,
Okay,
All
my
right.
motion still stands.
okay.
Second?
Okay. Motion made and second, and vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Also vote aye. All right, so moving up, the first thing on the agenda is consideration of the no e-poll books agreement. Okay, discussion. We were all three of us are here for that training and explanation, so.
I just want to thank you for doing it. It was nice to have, there was several people from the public that came and saw it, and I think they left with answers, so I think that was great.
Yeah, I even learned more than what they had already done, so.
Yeah, and I would say that I came in with some concerns, about the internet connection and that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily leave without those. I think the answers that he gave makes them to where they're covered at that point. So my concern is basically that not necessarily the vote piece of it, the actual voting machine. I have no concerns if that's ever, don't get me wrong. I also don't have a concern with any of the people, so don't get that either. So that's not there. The question I had was, if I have this e-poll book and it actually has the data on there and it says Greg Jarbo can or cannot vote, right? It basically is what it does. If someone actually got in there and actually could change it to where I couldn't vote at that point, right? And through the discussion, we talked about the encryption. We talked about the connection to the actual Cradle, which is a singular hotspot basically for that device only. And we talked about the kiosk mode of the iPad itself. Those there abated my fears. I'll be honest. At that point, I was like, okay, it's as close as you're going to get to that paper book. It's not as good as the paper book. I would like to see it to where if it is not by precinct that we have to have it connected to the internet, because there was a comment that the state law said that you had to be connected, but we think that it could be either center-based or precinct-based.
Yeah, I'm gonna check on it tomorrow morning.
So if you check on that and we don't have to be connected, my preference would be to not connect them at all to the internet. And he said that didn't function. Actually, he said that it was his preferred way of running them anyway. So that's my only comments. And otherwise, thank you for doing that. I know it takes time, and I know you've been away from your family too for it, so I appreciate that.
That's okay, thank you.
Well, now my takeaway with all security, and you know more about cybersecurity, but these may be mandated in the future. They're not.
Right.
And the state is now doing it at no cost.
Right.
And the contract that we're signing, the way I understand, that the contract that we're considering does not commit us to using them, just commits us to receiving them from the state, correct? So if something would come up before now and the election that we're not committed to using them, we're just taking them from the state while they're at no cost.
Right.
And then I know there was a concern about the cost of maintaining them years down the road. That said, again, until there's a mandate from the state, we're not committed to maintaining them either, correct?
But the
Yeah.
council already voted on that portion anyway, so.
Right, but we
That's
don't.
good and solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my opinion is I don't see a downside of taking them now, especially, because honestly, we're not committing to using them, correct, Rachel? But if we don't take them, we could be mandated and cost the county upwards of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
53, wasn't it, he said?
Actually, almost 66.
Yeah, 60.
9,904.
It's a high sixties number.
Right. Because I remember this came up a couple of years ago, and the price, I remember, was $66,000, and there was no money for that. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents worth on it.
Which
I
was
think
the
that-
final question that I asked, which was giving us a number basically on the voting machines too, because he said even those are upward to 30 grand, and we've got 51 of those. So it's one of those things of, yeah, that's what he said. 30.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Right.
so it's another one of those things of making sure that we're aware of what our budget needs to be, kind of thing for future. So.
And, I share the same concerns about security, and the experts are assuring us that they are secure. But even with that said, we're not agreeing that we're not making the mandate tonight that we're gonna use them. All we are is receiving them, correct? Okay, make that clear.
So I'd like to make a motion, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I motion that we go ahead with the process as long as we're assured that if they don't have to be on the internet, they won't be. And if they do have to be on the internet, they'll be through a secured cradle, and they'll use kiosk mode. Is that okay agreeable with you guys, the way I said it? Okay?
Yeah, I can see the big advantage of them at election day, especially election day.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll get that answer, and then I'll just get back on the agenda next time.
No, I think we can approve that motion just the way it was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you don't have to do any, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I can get your signature then tonight?
Yeah.
If they approve
And
it.
I'll-
Oh,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Gotta move on, gotta move on. And again, that's not me saying to use them, that's just if you do use them, I would like those risk factors taken care of.
And only question before I second that, which I'm going to second it, thank you again for doing this, because we will get asked out in the public. At least we sat through here and we got some answers now that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
That's right.
So thank you again, and I will second that.
Okay, motion made and second, and we'll vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye?
Randy?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Motion made, second, carried 3-0.
Okay, can I get one of I need your signatures, and I would have to send it back.
No, you got to wait till the end of the meeting.
Nope.
Paperclip. Okay.
Yeah, you just sign and name and title there.
Okay.
And then today's date.
And today is the
Second.
Does all three of us have some, Rachel?
No,
Or
just one.
Just, okay, just
Yeah.
president, okay.
Okay. You're getting a special favor here just because you're a sick kid.
Thank you.
We all sympathize.
Never
We've all
fails.
been there.
Never fails.
We've all been there.
Yeah. I hope everything works out tonight for you.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Mhm.
And then, there, all that information just on that side. Don't worry about that. I believe that is it. And then do you want a signed copy, or a copy of that with your signature and everything?
Pam will.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes. Pam
yeah,
will.
she will have to have
Okay.
that.
And I'll get that to her.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're right.
Mhm. Okay,
Good luck.
And thank you all. And I'll get that information.
Okay.
all right. Next thing on the agenda is the auditor. It's not Pam, but
Susie, stepping in.
Susie.
Right, well, I guess I was thinking, did we approve, in the agenda, did we approve these October 4th meet? Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming
That-
up.
Oh,
That's what
gosh.
you're supposed to
It's been
ask
a long
us.
day, sorry,
You're
guys.
supposed to ask us.
That's all right.
Okay, yes, we need the approval of claims to be paid today, December the 2nd. And, let's see, County General was $446,514.64. Highway, $1,102,755.14. Advance for $9,000. And payroll was $138,300.68 for a grand total of $1,696,570.46.
And we've received them previous.
Yeah.
Any comments or questions?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
motion made and second. Vote by roll call, Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Motion made, second, carried, 3-0. Okay,
Okay, then the next, oh, well, I did that at the same time, the payroll.
Yeah.
I gave you that. And then the next is the approval of the minutes from the October 4th meeting.
And the 18th.
And the 18th, if they want to do.
to get a chance to review.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have the 18th. Yes, I do.
The 18th minutes as well.
October the 4th and the 18th.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 4th and the 18th.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Vote by roll call, Randy?
Aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye.
Okay.
Tell Pam it's a miracle I had no changes.
Is it-
She had warned me.
Reputation, proceed.
She is better than getting West 50.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Okay, next on the agenda, Greg Hendershot, the Parks and Rec Director.
I've given you guys, Greg Hendershot, Parks and Rec. I've given you guys a letter and some pictures to look at. This is the mower that was there when I hired in. It was a residential model. It's outlived its usefulness. I don't think it's worth anything, but when I try to trade it in, the people that do know refuse to give me anything for it. So I'm going to guess that they know what they're doing, and they told me it wasn't worth anything. The guy that works for me, if you do decide to declare it surplus, the guy that works for me would like to just take it and try to do something with it. He likes to tinker with stuff. I just need to get it out of the shop because I'm on limited space up there, and I just need to get rid of it.
You haven't used it for 3 years, you said, too, or something like that? Or?
I haven't used it since the end of mowing season 2017.
Oh, yeah, so more than 3 years. So.
Yeah. If you've seen the letter, it's got no cutting belt, it's got no dry belt, it's missing 2 wheels off of the deck.
Engine's throwing airs.
Well, it's just outlived its usefulness. It's not really worth anything, at least in my opinion.
In the opinion of the dealerships that you tried to trade it in.
Yeah, they wouldn't even give me $20 for it.
In my opinion, lawnmowers is a little bit like TVs anymore. Kind of throwaways once
Just
you're done
throw
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you buy
Especially,
something.
yeah, that's, well,
Let's move on.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and second. Vote by roll call, Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Also vote aye. So it's declared surplus.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is our contracts and agreements for 2022. Chris Kaufman?
Yeah, excuse me, so I've got the annual contracts. No surprises in here, these are the ones we typically approve each year. The first one is the cleaning contract for the courthouse, armory, and south annex cleaning. We use Glenn's Cleaning Service. It's an annual contract. Let's see, it's gone, the total is $30,000 for the year. it's gone up $131 a month for the year. So the total pay is $2,500 a month. You want to do them all at once, or you want to just kind of go through
What do
them?
you guys want to do?
When we go through them all and then talk about them, or?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
Probably easier.
The next one is the, and just so you know, the actual contracts themselves have not changed. They're exactly the same except for the numbers in them, so nothing else is different. Prosecutor's office is Caitlin Stewart. It's no change. It's a yearly contract of $2,400 a year, $200 a month. It did not change from last year at all. The only change on that is changing the name Caitlin Stewart. She got married, so we're changing her name. County attorney is, the yearly contract is $28,328. That is a 4% increase apparently.
Which is in line with
I
what the,
assume that's, typically it's the same as the budgeted increases for the employees is typically what that is, I think. Local Emergency Planning Committee, Sandra Jarbo, is no change, $1,417 a year. Council on Aging is $30,000. That's a $3,000 increase, and that's paid quarterly in payments of $7,500 a quarter.
was that approved in the, we don't have.
I assume that was approved in the council budget.
Council budget, okay.
Alpha Mechanical, we don't have the contract yet.
Yes.
Do you have it now?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
And I have, it's in there, you have it in your list, I mean, in your stack. It'll be in your,
Anyway,
keep-
I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
yeah, it's in there.
It's not changed then, I assume.
The only thing that, yeah, you
Except
did
for the,
outline the labor.
Yeah, the actual preventative maintenance is an annual charge of $9,258, which did not change from what it is this year. The labor rates did increase. It's $90 an hour for mechanic, $95 for controls tech. That's $5 per hour increase for each of those. And then a truck charge of $49, which is the same as it is this year. So that's all the standard contracts that we do every year at this time.
And do you have the one for Ann Island?
Yeah, and then I think you had the one from Ann Island was emailed out to everyone. That's
Yeah.
not one I typically do anything with except review it, and the contract itself looked fine. Oh, thanks for letting that. I'm looking
Yeah,
at two
it's
different
all-
things.
Here's your stack there.
Give me too much paper, so I get lost. Ann Island is the one, they do our IT services here at the courthouse for the county. Their total amount of their base contract is $57,764.12. If we pay our labor in advance, we get a $3,600 discount for doing that. And the way that works is it includes a certain number of hours of labor per month. And otherwise, I think it's all pretty standard from what it's been before otherwise.
Yeah, same.
So,
With it's also with the addition of the multi-factor authentication that just got implemented just this last month.
for additional
Yeah,
security.
so that's an addition on that, but it's included in that price.
Oh, I see the contract here now, yeah. Okay, if nobody has any questions, all of those contracts are ready for your approval.
Discussion?
There's one on that comment on Ann Island and then a change on Ann Island. It says, in this piece that we got, it says 960 emails licensed. It's probably really 96, I'm assuming.
Well, it's 80 emails times 12 months.
Okay, now that makes more sense.
And
Okay,
it-
so that's a
just-
yes.
Did I say 960?
960 is right if it's 80 emails for and by 12 months. So
Yes.
These are monthly user license per month. Okay, all right.
Yep.
I got it, okay. Which, that makes more sense on the dollar figure, because I was trying to figure that out. I was like, that's not enough money. The other thing I wanted to say was the rate that they're charging us is extremely good, especially in our area. So that's, I'm very pleased with this contract, I'll just say that right now. And they also have the refreshers on the equipments, that there's 3 pieces of equipment in here that they have refreshers on, which means that in 4 years, as long as we keep that contract, they actually give us a brand-new device. So we won't ever have to pay that money out again, it just rolls over a new device. So it's a nice benefit, so. So I have no problem with that one. The other one was the cleaning service for the prosecutor's office. Comparing that to the county cleaning service one, it's missing items 8 and 9, which 8 is the hold no fault kind of thing, and then 9 is actually the confidentiality agreement. And I think anybody that.
Yeah, those should be in there, Greg. I'm not sure why they're not. You're right. So if you would approve this, we would need to add those in.
Yes, but I mean confidentiality, at least for the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't see anything wrong with the
They
contract.
were in the previous contract.
Yeah, they must have just
She's an
been,
employee at the prosecutor's office too.
oh, well, true, she's bound by confidentiality anyway, but
Mhm.
we can put, we should put all three of those
Yeah.
paragraphs in
Yeah.
there. So 8, 9, and 10. 8 is the indemnity, 9 is the confidentiality, and 10 is a good workmanship warranty.
Yeah.
They should do a good job.
Okay.
So I will add those in. If y'all don't sign this tonight, I'll add it in, ship it back up here. and we
That's
can-
fine. Yeah.
And we
We
can-
can approve as is with those amendments.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep, I'm good. I'll motion to approve all of them with those amendments unless there's other questions.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made, and second, vote by roll call, Greg,
Aye?
Randy,
Aye.
also vote aye.
Don't, let me pull that one out.
They can they still sign just a signature page?
Yeah, it's gonna mess it all up.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Sorry.
mess the signature
it's the
page.
second one,
Always
should be your second one down for Steve,
Well, we'll
or
sign it
Stuart.
unless it's radio.
Actually,
If we just add those,
you can sign it, I'll add those.
yeah, on the
Okay.
second page, and then let
Yeah.
that be the third page.
I'll make sure that gets fixed in the morning, first thing. That's all I had for that.
Next thing on the agenda is the ordinance for establishing fixed asset capitalization policy, and that is something that we got
Yeah.
instructed by the,
Let me tell you what that is. So, the county already has a fixed asset capitalization policy. When we had our State Board of Accounts audit, they looked it over and suggested that we make a few changes to it just to kind of bring it a little more up to date. Because I can't remember, when the first one was actually done in '97 and then was amended a couple years ago. But basically, it talks about what is capitalized and what is considered in our inventory, and requires the county to keep track of all capitalized items, and talks about depreciation and how you depreciate items such as vehicles and graders and and other items of equipment. It's very standard. It also has a paragraph that requires the department heads to make an annual inventory of the items within their departments and keep that up to date, so the auditors have a very good handle on what is in each department, and keep that up to date and in their books. And I believe there's a computer program that's going to allow them, each department head, to do that very simply. When something comes out of use, they just note it on the computer and it updates everything. So it's a modernization ordinance is what it is, and not very exciting stuff to read.
No, it was not.
But it's necessary.
it was important in our exit interview, it was very important to our.
Yeah.
Tom, do you know the original value, equal to or greater value that was in the original one? Do you know what that
I
is?
should have brought my ordinance book.
I
I think it was 5,000.
It was?
Mhm.
We're lowering it?
And we're lowering it.
25, okay, so we're lowering it.
I'll tell you if that's wrong. I'll go back and look, but I believe it was 5,000 and we're lowering it.
Lowering it, okay.
Yeah,
I think that's what Pam said here.
yeah.
She mentioned
Yeah.
one meeting.
Okay. I don't have any issues with it. It's pretty standard.
I mean, is that a motion then?
Oh, sorry, yes, it's a motion, yes. to
Okay,
approve.
and I don't have any issues neither. That's a second.
Motion made, second, and vote by roll call, Greg,
Aye.
Randy.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Made, second, carried 3-0.
You want to do the next one too?
Yes.
Greg, you can help me on this.
Sure.
It's my understanding that the plan here is, this is with respect to the American Rescue Plan money that the county has been given. And the way I understand it is that applications for the use of that money from whomever would be made through a portal, internet-based application. The Perry County Community Foundation, through the Community Foundation Alliance, has agreed to allow submissions to be made through their internet portal where they get their applications. And there'll be various requirements that have to be met in order to qualify to make applications. That'll all be set out and determined. So for, basically for a fixed fee of $6,000, a one-time fixed fee of $6,000, the Community Foundation would provide certain standard services to allow any applicants to utilize their online portal. It'll have applications and evaluation forms will be set up by them. They'll field phone calls and emails from organizations with questions. They'll do orientation and training for the committee, review the charity status of the applicants, because the applicants are going to need to be charitable organizations, religious 501c3, etc. They'll assign applications that they receive to committee members for review, monitor completion of the forms, and prepare evaluation reports for the chair of the committee. And then they'll mark the applications approved or denied as determined by the committee, of course. And then if there's any other services that the parties may be considering, we'd have to have an additional agreement in case there were extra fees. But as, you know, assuming there's no extra fees, they can just agree with the county committee on what other services they would perform. So that's what the contract says. It's pretty straightforward.
And I'll tell you, they're charging us $6,000, which I think is 0.5% of the 1.2 million that we said that we were going to actually send out in grants. If we would buy this software, which there's no way to do this process really without that kind of software at this point, we would just be buying the software, and it would be $7,000 to $14,000, and it would be to some company somewhere. Doing it this way, one, we keep the $6,000 here locally. We're actually going to help the overhead of Perry County Community Foundation, which is a good thing. And the other thing is we get all these extra labor benefits, basically, these services that we wouldn't get from a normal, ordinary software company. So to me, it's a fabulous deal. We're helping each other out, and I'm all for it.
I agree with you too. Like I said, I'm sitting on the same committee, and I don't know how else we could accomplish this without spending 3 times the money.
Time and money.
Huh?
Time and money, probably.
Time and money,
Yeah.
lots of time.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion made and second. Vote roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Thank-
Also vote aye.
And thank you for adding that to the agenda. I know it was pretty quick.
Well, we need to get moving
Yeah.
with the ARP process, which is a big process.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the next piece of that is that we can't spend that 6,000, this is my understanding, you correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. We can't spend that $6,000 or the money that we actually spent for the software too for the
For the
treasurer and
treasurer,
audit
yeah.
office.
Until we have a plan.
Until we have a plan, and so that's why I mentioned your name, Chris. If we could, is there a way that we could actually develop a plan where there's, say, an appendix?
I think we talked
So that
about
we
it
could
at the
actually
beginning.
amend that appendix as we go, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Appropriation request.
what I was thinking about was we would have the commissioners approve a plan that, you know, and you have to amend it from time to time as things
Yeah.
change with the
Yeah.
committee. So I will need someone to get me a breakdown of what you're thinking about.
I got it. I'll
Good.
send that to
You
you.
can just shoot it to me.
Yeah.
I'll get something drafted up.
Yeah.
And we can approve it at your next meeting, whenever that is.
Yeah, and then that way, the 2 days later, when the council meets, they can
Yeah.
appropriate it. So then,
That's right.
then the process is done.
That's right. Okay,
Thanks.
All right.
now I'm done.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Teresa, we have ADA
Yes.
3-year plan.
Yes, just to reiterate again, as a local government entity and a recipient of federal funds, we're required to comply with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And what I've done since the last plan is basically, I put all of our compliance efforts in appendices, since those are the parts of the plan that change over time. There's an introduction that lists the guidelines and states what the county must follow and what our compliance responsibilities are. Basically, what our efforts are public entities that have 50 or more employees were required to designate one employee that's responsible to coordinate the ADA compliance, and that is the ADA coordinator, and that will be in Appendix A of the plan. Public entities, all public entities are required to publicize information about the rights and protections of the public, protections and rights of the ADA. That's in Appendix B of the plan. Entities with 50 or more employees are required to publish a grievance procedure. That is going to be in Appendix C. And public entities are required to perform a self-evaluation of programs, activities, and services. That's in Appendix D, which a list of all of our departments and facilities. And Appendix E contains our department self-evaluations and findings. All public entities are required to perform a self-evaluation of facilities where those programs, activities, and services take place. We always use, and we will continue to use, the ADA checklist for existing facilities, and a copy of that will be in Appendix F. And Appendix G is our facility self-evaluations and those findings. Public rights-of-way and pedestrian facilities must also be evaluated, and Appendix H of the plan will have a list of the very small areas that we have curbs and sidewalks, other than those that are at our buildings, and those are included in our building evaluations. Public entities must provide an opportunity to interested persons and individuals with disabilities to participate in the self-evaluation and development of our transition plan. We have a public comment statement on our website. We have a steering committee that is invited to provide comment and make recommendations. We did have a public comment period that was advertised in the paper. We did not receive any comments. Also, there was a hearing here held at the courthouse on November 1st. We did not have any comments at that time either. All of this information will be in Appendix I of the plan. An action plan is not really a requirement, but it assists in our efforts to remove any non-structural barriers to accessibility. It's based on the self-evaluations of our programs, activities, and services. And Appendix J will list a few things that we will continue to do to keep our personnel informed about ADA responsibilities and provide opportunities for education. Public entities with 50 or more employees are required to develop a transition plan when structural changes to facilities are necessary. Appendix K is our 3-year ADA transition plan, the proposed plan for 2022 through 2024, and you all have a copy of that that shows priority and priority 1 and 2, which this checklist that is used to evaluate is divided into 4 priorities. Of course, priority 1 is approach and entrance to facilities, and priority 2 is access to the goods and services. So those are the 2 priorities that we focus on at this time. A public entity is not required to take any action that would result in fundamental alteration in a nature, service, program, or activity, or result in undue financial administrative burdens. Structural changes are not required where other solutions are feasible, but when not, then structural changes are necessary. Appendix L of the plan has the timeline of progress and updates that the county has made over the years, showing that we are making good faith efforts towards our compliance. So when our first plan, ADA plan was completed, not all of our current facilities where county services are provided were evaluated. We still have some areas such as the South Annex, voting locations, recycling drop-off sites. That doesn't mean that they're not compliant, but we do not have a formal evaluation done on those. Over time, we will work to evaluate those locations, and we'll continue removing priority 1 and 2 barriers. So the proposed plan includes some evaluation and assessment of the South Annex and the voting locations. Priority 1, we need to add or modify some parking spaces at the Armory, the Eagles Bluff Multi-Services Building, and hopefully we'll be adding a new parking space at Wilkerson Park. We'll add a new accessible route at Wilkerson Park from the parking space to the restroom and shelter. And there's some adjustments and assessments of door closers and floor mats. Priority 2, we're going to assess and adjust interior door closes, operable parts, door hardware, and assess some barriers that are identified at the prosecutor's office. You know, it takes people to do this, and we have to put people that are responsible for that, and of course I will be assisting those. A lot of it will be working with Greg on some of the things like the parking spots, and other things will just be going through and doing some assessments. So if you all are fine with that, then we'll be ready for you to approve the plan. One thing I do want to make a note is at the last NDOT meeting that we had for our quarterly for River Road, it was mentioned about letters that went out to a lot of counties that weren't in compliance with their ADA and their non-discrimination plans. And I told them that we were not one of the counties that received a letter, and they did look at the list and they said, well, you are one of the very few counties that didn't get it. So we're doing something right anyway, so we just got to keep things updated and keep working towards it. So if you all are fine with the proposed plan, then we can get that approved, and then I'll get that updated and uploaded on the website.
And this does affect our grant.
It affects-
Absolutely.
yeah.
So 1, thank you for all the work. I know you do a lot of work on it, and 2, I'm ready to motion if there's no other comments. So.
I'm good.
And I'll second that. Thank you, Teresa, for working on it.
Motion made and second. Vote roll call. Greg?
Aye?
Randy?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Made second carry 3-0. Okay. Under miscellaneous, Herb, you said you had a couple things. Let me introduce yourself. I got one.
Sir?
I'll give you mine.
Okay.
on that.
Good for you. That's the second one.
Okay, I'm Herb Landers, representing the Animal Control Board. And sorry I didn't get these to y'all and give you more time to look at them. But my wife makes it work for a living. First thing, while you're all looking through them, the Control Board has not been able to have the educational program the last 2 years due to the COVID and the restrictions. But we have been talking with Erica Fables again. Everything is going back pretty well on track. And the board has discussed and would like to have the education program again in 2022. Depending on what the COVID and the virus is, we're going to discuss with the schools the possibility of doing it on the football field, where they would have plenty of room to social distance the children. Then I see Randy's looking at the trifold. So look on the front of your paper, the one that says read trifold animal education brochure. And the main thing, down on the very bottom, it's got a cost of 0.0839 cents each. If we would get 10,000 of them, that'd be $839. And what this does, if you all flip to the first page where it says Animal Welfare Control and Education Board, this would be we'll be using this at Firehouse Printers, which is using a local business, which is turning around and the company's paying taxes, the employees are paying taxes, so we also benefit that way. But that page will be the very front, and this will go through the schools, the libraries, veterinarians, anybody that will pass it out to the kids. Then if you flip over, it says 5 steps to take care of your pet. That will be page 2. Which one? Yeah.
Okay.
I've had help with
Blame the
this.
designer.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right.
She
Okay.
did.
He was right on the first page. Okay, the second page will be your inner. The third page will be this page.
Give them time to flip, they're old. It
They're
says,
younger than you.
says-
And that is, why should pets
Spay
be,
and neuter.
or why should we spay and neuter
that
your
would be page
pets?
3.
And that gives explanation. That's 3. 4 is things you should know. And this is a little explanation for kids, so they understand what the vet is, the microchipping, the spayed, neutered, animal shelter, and heartworms. Okay, then the 5th page will be care. It tells about shampooing your pets and lots to do. And this is kind of a breakdown because it's kind of an overview of what the kids get. And the back page would be why adopt from a shelter. And yes, I did do this.
Yes, you
Thank
did. And again, that's trying to educate from the bottom up. So as the kids get older, they're a little more educated, and we have a lot less stray, nuisance, and pregnant animals running around. And you got any?
Good information for anybody, even adults.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I put I put in there for the residents of the county, but I put mainly children.
Yeah.
Because 90% of the people our age, you're not going to change our way of thinking.
Yeah.
So we need to get their kids educated and have them a little smarter as they come up. And the microchip and spade and neuter, I mean, can make all the difference in the world
Yeah.
of the 60 cats a month the officers go out on. Anybody got any questions on that one? Okay. The next one is window decals, and Tom should understand some of this. We was looking at 4,000 of them, which is a small amount really. At $869.59 a thousand would be $3,478. And what you do with these, the next page is just showing confirming the price. As the third page is showing that there are 1,000 of them. Again, this will be going through Firehouse Printing here in Tell City. So helping out the economy in the county. The main thing besides the price is on the last page, and this decal goes on the window. And firemen know that if they're fighting a fire and they see one of these decals and it says there's 3 dogs in the house, they kind of keep their eyes open and watch for the animals and try to rescue them if they can. If it says 1 dog and 2 cats, then cats have a real tendency of going and hiding. But they know to watch for it. And it's not just for the firemen, same thing with paramedics. They go in a house and take a person out, he's going to be in the hospital for a month or 2. Right now, they walk right out the door and close it. So you got a couple of dogs in there that might starve to death if he doesn't have any close relation or friends. If you see this on the door on your way out, they can call somebody. And actually, the coroner has called me 3 times in the past because they've removed people and there was animals there they didn't know what to do with. And they, like you said, we can't just go off and leave them, so we went out and took care of it. And so, I mean, this will help out. The same thing if Allen arrests somebody and they're going to be in jail for 2 or 3 months or got $40,000 bond. If you notice on the door that he's got 3 or 4 dogs, then they need to contact somebody to try to go take care of these dogs, rabbits, cats, or whatever. So again, I think it's a good cause. And since we didn't get to have the pet education program this year, that would be utilizing the same money that was appropriated, and it's still there for that.
Have you done the decals before? In the past?
Nope.
No, first time?
We couldn't get we've got a price before.
Yeah.
This is by far the best price we've ever got.
We did bookmarks.
Yeah.
Bookmarks,
Yeah?
when we did the pet education at school,
Right.
that's kind of what the brochure's off of.
Yeah.
We pass those out to the kids.
I'm not against or anything, I was just wondering if you'd ever done it before, because I'd never seen one, but, so I think it's a neat idea.
Well, there's actually another thing that we're not prepared to talk about. The board has been talking about it, but I don't know enough about it yet. I know Hosville, Kentucky, I don't know if it's a state thing or a county thing, they have some kind of a sticker. And like we had an ordeal where a male lady was concerned about her routing animals. In Hosville, they've got, and I think it's green, yellow, orange, and red. If you've got a good friendly dog, you put a green sticker on your gate or your mailbox. If your dog's a little barky and whatever, you put a yellow sticker. So that way the postmaster knows the dog might bark or something, but it never has bit. If the dog's been tendency to growl or show some aggression, you put the orange. And if it has bitten, you put the red, so that if it's loose, they don't come in. And we're not sure yet, the board, we've discussed it, I'm not sure exactly how all, if the postmasters will pay for them decals, who passes them out, who pays for them, or whatever. But personally, I think that would be a good thing for all of our postmasters, our post people, making deliveries, because as soon as they see the decal, they know what kind of dog we're going to be dealing with.
Right. As long as the owner does it accurately. And
Yeah.
Working EMS, I will say
Well,
that. Animals act differently to strangers than the perception of their owners sometimes. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
always have to be careful.
Yep.
I mean, especially if a person is sick or injured, the pets tend to want to protect. Yeah.
Well,
Can you ask about the program for what the stickers on the windows?
Yeah. These.
In the past, the fire departments have had these, but they were for children. They were called tot finders, and they were reflective.
I have one on my window.
Yeah, so,
My daughter's bedroom, yeah.
yeah, so we,
From when she was little. I mean,
It
she's old
is
enough
a-
now, she'd crawl out the window, but at the time, she couldn't get out on her own, so
Right.
that's what we put them.
when you was talking about the dogs, or Tom brought it up, you was in on that one we sent out of Compton on Madison Street.
Yeah.
That dog would be considered a dangerous dog. It's not for biting, but it knocked a woman down, and the guy wouldn't keep it in the house. It would get out on the sidewalk in Compton, just jump up on people or whatever. So it knocked the lady down. She had to have stitches. And theoretically, even though that dog doesn't bite, it is still a dangerous dog. It's dangerous to the residents of the county. So he surrendered the dog, and it got rehomed. Any other questions?
thanks for all this work. Like I said, we're spending the education money wisely, so I think, or you have. I don't think it needs our approval, it's just
Informative, right?
information.
But basically, and that's what, because I know we gotta have everything done by December the 9th, I believe.
Right.
So the decals and the trifolds, you're talking about out of this year's funds?
Yeah, out of the fund we've got right now, and it'll be going to Firehouse Printer. I don't know if I think you wrote them a check before, or Pam did or somebody, but,
I think we wrote it, didn't we? If we write it,
Well, they can bill us,
either way.
they can bill us.
But-
Are they doing both of these?
Yeah.
Both of these things?
if they approve
Okay.
it, I guess. I don't
Well, we
know.
don't have to
No,
approve it,
we
it's
don't have
in
to
the
Okay.
approve it. You've already, the money's
Oh,
already
okay.
been
We approved the
All right.
budget for you, so I mean.
We'll get them going, and I'll get the bills to Teresa Pam.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
before you leave, I do have one to add. I know Herbie's been working on this, Aaron Emerson's been working on this, and I've been working on it too. The veterinary shortage nomination form, it did go out like a week ago or whatever, and we were nominated. So now we've got to see if it comes back as approved, but I think it's the first time we've been nominated as the shortage, so thank you for the help with that too. And Aaron, if you're out there listening, thank you to her as well, so.
Well, the thing I sent them is not just, I mean, that affects us. Crawford County doesn't have a vet either.
Right.
Spencer County is down to 2 vets, and Dr. Francis wants to retire. Her husband's already retired.
Yep.
So it's other counties all the way around us. There's people right here that are taking their animals, their pets, dogs, cats, ferrets, whatever, to Louisville, Evansville, Owensboro, Bowling Green, Bloomington. Because if you've got a pet that's sick, and these vets can do all they can do, but if they can't get you in for 30 or 43 days,
Yeah.
Right.
you don't have a choice but to go somewhere else.
And we were lumped, it's usually a group of counties, and we were lumped with Perry, Spencer, Crawford, so we were all, it's all,
Yep.
the whole area that we're in, it's just
Yep.
shortage.
Well, I hope they get us one. Another thing, since you brought that up, Karen, which is the trustee or whatever over Dr. Decker's estate, was going to have an auction, but she's going to keep that place intact where it's ready for a vet to move in, all the equipment, x-ray machine, client list, the whole 9 yards. But you won't need a client list if you move in here as a vet.
No, you won't.
You won't need a client list, but, so she's gonna hold that as is till January sometime, and if we don't come up with something, she's gonna go ahead and have an auction and try to eliminate it. So, yep, so she's worked with us, just,
Yeah,
I
she
think
sure
the
has.
state is pushing for it too, and she's just trying to hold off to help out.
Right, good.
anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
All right, any other miscellaneous? Huh?
I just gave you a little bullet form there I just give you a bullet form because later on I'll be giving you a spreadsheet, but this is just basically a bullet form for information on that proposal and estimated. But by the way, Herbie and Debbie, thank you very much because both of those are very good, innovative ideas. I'm going to be meeting with the Animal Control Board because that's not set in stone, because I want to go through the whole thing with the Animal Control Board, get their opinion, get changes if they make some opinions that we can all agree on, and so I got to meet with them actually after your next commissioners meeting. So probably in January before I give you the comprehensive plan, but I will be giving the Animal Control Board on the 21st comprehensive plan and have them look it over to have it modified according to how they feel about it. So I want the Animal Control Board to be very much involved with that because they're integral in everything that goes on. So thank you very much and Debbie, thank you for keeping him straight. So anyway, I just gave you a bullet form to give you an idea on the cost. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Anybody else? Next meeting?
Next meeting will be Tuesday, December 21st at 8 a.m. here at the courthouse.
All right. Be there, be square. 21st.
Motion to adjourn? We don't do that? Okay. I was just waiting for the adjournment.